I step aside and see like, okay, if he's not motivated to train today, if he doesn't train, he's still gonna look like a little bitch, and his palms will not grow. Like for an example, then I get out from my own self, and then
This is you asking yourself, right?
Yeah. And then myself convinces myself like, all right, you have to go and get it done.
I like it.
And do it.
Yeah.
And that's what gets me like, okay, if you don't put in that work, you wouldn't get that outcome out of it.
Motivation. Is it bullshit? Well, probably not, right? But it's a tool. And if you don't know how to use it, well, you're just in trouble. So we're going to talk about how I use it with my clients, how Sonny uses it with himself, how I use it with myself, and how to actually make it purposeful, right? Because there's a lot of ways you can use it, but if you use it in the wrong way, it's just bullshit.
Yeah, it just gives you like small sprints, and then people are like, oh, if they only do the days that you're motivated, you're not going to get much done. So
Nah, exactly right. But that's the thing, it's important to understand what motivation really is. So if I had to ask you, what does it mean to you to be motivated? What do you expect from motivation, I should say?
Well, my definition is a bit odd. For me, motivation is just that sprint you get to do extra more. But motivation is not something that will stop me from doing what I'm supposed to do.
I like it.
So if I'm motivated, I might be sitting, instead of 2 hours, I would have sat 3.5 hours. But it wouldn't stop me from putting those 2 hours. So
let me quickly just recap. What you're saying is motivation
is just a booster.
It's just a boost. You're already doing the shit because you know you got to do, which is what we're going to talk about at the end, how to do that.
Yeah.
But it's literally just that extra burst of energy.
Yeah.
I like it.
You can also be like, you get that boost motivation. You can get like, if you are in a good mood, or if you are in the flow, you also get a motivation like, oh, you're getting more shit done. So you're still going and doing more. But in any circumstances, for me, it's just an add-on to keep adding and doing more stuff. What about you?
For me, what I expect from motivation is just, again, the same thing, that extra push, because I know that I got to do it regardless.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's more of a tool, and I know that I have to generate it, right? So I know I have to generate motivation through the tactics we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But I look at it as like, oh shit, I'm motivated today. Let me use this extra energy. But every single day I do it regardless, because I know. But today it's like, oh, I'm on another level. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on a new level.
That's it. And I feel like you're on the same, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So how do you create your motivation? What do you do? Do you have a tactic? Is it natural? Is it just, I woke up today and I just feel like conquering the world?
Well, depends. How do you create it? Like, if you have to create it on purpose, you have to create it when you are actually not motivated. So if you're actually low, then you have to create it. It's like external testosterone you have to put in your body.
Nice.
So for that, I like to think of myself as an external perspective. Like, if you have to do these things, how would this person go and get these things done? And if he doesn't do these things, where will he get to? Like,
so you question what's the
the
result of doing and not doing.
Yeah, and then I question those my input and my outputs. I step aside and see like, okay, if he's not motivated to train today, if he doesn't train, he's still gonna look like a little bitch, and his palms will not grow. Like for an example, then I get out from my own self, and then
This is you asking yourself, right?
Yeah. And then myself convinces myself like, all right, you have to go and get it done.
I like it.
And do it.
Yeah.
And that's what gets me like, okay, if you don't put in that work, you wouldn't get that outcome out of it.
Exactly.
But when you do it, you also feel like my checklist is also a good motivator for me. So like when I get things done, I get more boost. Like I got this done, I got this out of the way, and I feel like I'm finishing the task that I have on my hand. Otherwise, if I don't have things on my hand to do, it's like a purposeless day.
So technically, it may not have already started you off, but it comes as a result of you doing and seeing, I'm doing it.
Yeah, so it's like I need the first push for a motivation, then everything falls in that push.
I like it, man. I think it's important, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't do is question what is the result of you not doing it, as opposed to what if I do it?
Yeah.
Because like that's what most people do. And then which is good. It's very important. But then there's going to be days where that's not important. That's not strong enough, right? So like you do have to ask yourself, like you just ask yourself, hey man, what if you were speaking in third person, but you know, what if I don't train today? You know, and what will I look like? How will I feel? Will my energy be poor? And you start looking at what's going to happen as opposed to you not doing it, right?
Yeah.
And that's a massive motivator. So that's something I do too. And I always ask myself, and it's tough too, because sometimes I ignore my own mind. I don't want to ask the question because I know if I ask the question, I'm going to do the hard thing because I'm like, damn it, I know the hard thing right now is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is to allow myself to actually say, hey man, ask yourself the question.
Yeah.
Be there and sit with yourself.
Be honest with yourself.
Be honest and say, is this the right choice right now? And what's going to help me? And that's an immediate thing. But I think it's important to always set it up. Like, what is, you know, that's sort of like, oh, I feel shit now. So what do I do now? That's the question to ask. But I think that you have to already set that up so that you don't have to think so hard. So when the question does come, you can already just tap into, hold on a second, I've got this ready. Yeah. So what I do is, and I think you've got that too, but you know, you just didn't explain it in this. You've got that vision already. Mm-hmm. You know what you want in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever the time may be, you know it. So when the question does come, that's in front of your mind because you know that's what you need to do, right? Yeah. So if I get to more baby steps with my clients, that's what I do. And with myself, I know what I want in a year. I know what I want in 5 years. And so I've got something to constantly look towards. So what I do is, it's called the SMART system. And I just looked it up last night for the podcast because like we said, we want to name the person. Greg Doran, 1981.
George Doran.
Did I say Greg? Yeah. Bloody hell.
George Doran, 1981.
George Doran. Sorry, bro. If you're still with us, I'm
bro.
Sir.
Great, sir.
Sorry, greatness.
Greatness.
I'm going to call him greatness. Legit,
you probably
though.
say late.
Yeah.
Safe to say late.
All right. Let's get it. Tangent.
But if it's 140 and watching.
Tangent 101.5 with them. So he created something called the SMART goals, standing for, it's an acronym. Acronym. So specific, so your goal has to be specific, it has to be measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Yeah. In other words, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, like, if your goals are not measurable, they're miserable.
I like that. That's going to be our t-shirt.
My t-shirt. Yeah.
That's a t-shirt. We came up with some t-shirts today, guys, which we are really looking forward towards, and it's going to be a community thing that engages everyone. So, you know what? If you're watching this, it'll already be live on the link. And we're going to slap it in there. What are we going to call this link? You know what? You're going to find in the show notes. We'll think of it and we'll put it in there.
And if you have some quotes that you like this, would you like some t-shirts and you would like to share with other people, just put it in the comment below. Any comments, any lines you resonate with a lot and which makes you feel like, all right, get it done.
You know what? DM us on Instagram. Because we've been getting a few recently and really, really enjoy it when someone's saying like, hey man, thank you for that message. Because we know we're giving you the right message and it's important because it helps us too. So, you know, to get back onto it, exactly like you said, if they're not measurable, they're miserable. Because it's really not, you don't have anything to judge it by. Yeah. So the idea of it is, and I'll actually attach a worksheet. Yeah. So if you go to sobertosuccess.com/motivation, I'll attach the worksheet that I give to all of my clients. You do not start my program unless you have this done. Mm-hmm. If you don't have this done, the rest will not work because you are not going to stick to the plan. Yeah. And it comes down to what we're going to talk about with the rest of, you know, how to actually continue. So you write down your goals. So is it specific, for example, weight loss, right? So 10 kilos. Is it measurable? Yes, scale. Or pant size or whatever it may be, right? It's not just, I want to be healthy. Measurable. Is it achievable? Okay. Is it, 10 kilos in 1 week? Not achievable. Okay. So 10 kilos in a certain amount of time, 10 weeks, 1 kilo a week. All right. Achievable.
And make sure your goals are not going, SMART will help you avoid the vagueness in your goals.
Correct.
But the best ways people get away from goal setting is setting vague goals. As you said, healthy. I want to be happy. If you want to be healthy, counted like you want to lose this much weight to be healthy, or you want to have your waist this much to be healthy. As you said, if you want to be happy, count it. What you're gonna be happy about? I'll be happy with my relationships. I'll be happy that I'll be contributing with my family. I'll be happy in my community. What is your meaning of happiness? Because someone who's doing drugs on the corner is also happy for 2 hours, and then after that they're not.
So, I knew I chose the right guy to do the podcast. Not the voice, the brain. I like that.
My voice is working.
Amazing. The late John.
I should just talk like this.
Don't do that.
I'm Batman.
And that's a really, really good point. Go.
Why did you kill Martha?
Oh, come on, man. That was bad. All right. Where were we? We were at... All right. Yes, you said specific, right?
Yeah.
He was 100%. And that's the big thing. That's why we do this, because most people are too vague. It's now going to be at the front of your mind.
Yeah.
And when it's there, it's constantly staring you in the face, so that when the time comes you don't want to do something, it's already there. And it's in your face going, hey, Jeremy, Sonny, this is your goal. That will take you away from your goal if you do that.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, right? I think a good trigger is if you've not been able to achieve things, probably because your goals have been vague in this sense.
Yeah.
Like you want to be rich. Like, what is rich? Like $500, $5,000, $50,000, $5 million.
How long is a piece of rope?
Yeah.
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 That's pretty much where goal setting goes wrong with everyone. They don't goal set. They have an idea of what they like.
Yeah. So that's where smart is very useful actually.
Yeah.
And
so we'll go on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
Which is realistic.
Yeah. But yeah, like you can't in 1 month you'll probably not lose 7 inches of your belly fat, or you will not
depending
make
on
3 million.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're already at like 2.5 million, you might be able to make it 3 million. But if you're at 10, you'll not be able to make 3 million. So depending on this, you need to make it realistic so you don't get too much demotivated. Like
context.
We won't be sitting with Elon Musk next month, but
no, maybe the month after, but not next month.
So context.
Because next month he's got too many dinners on. Kidding. We need to elevate our status, right?
Yeah.
So if it's not realistic as well, again, you will get demotivated. If you said you had so much to do and you do it in, such a short amount of time you give yourself, you're going to see you're not getting on track, and you'll quit. So it really is important to, as much as it is to push yourself, you can't make it unrealistic. Because then when you judge yourself, you're not going to actually be pushing yourself to do more. Instead, you're just going to be, why am I here? Why am I there? It's not working. I should stop.
I think
I should quit.
This one combines with both the time as well.
For sure.
But at the same time, something separate for realistic that is independent of timeline would be like, if you are 5'1", it'll be harder for you to become a slam dunk NBA player.
Correct.
So this is where timeline doesn't matter, but actually your actual vision matters. Don't get me wrong. There's a 5'3" person who does slam dunk, but it's a rare. It's a more rare. Appearance than other things. So your goal setting should be according to that realism. Like,
do you have the skills? And if you don't have the skills, is it something you can work around, or is it not? Maybe you have to hire someone with those skills.
Yeah.
I get it. I like it.
Or if you want to be an astronaut now, it'll be probably harder to take more time.
No, that's right. And I think that's a really good point, because realistic also has to say, well, is it in my tool belt? And if I train for it, is it possible? Is it in my genetics? Is it whatever it may be? Because timely is the next one. And like you said, timely is more, hey, is that time frame realistic? Which is... I was combining that in the realistic, you're right. And it's more important to understand, is it something that's possible? So realistic is more like, can it happen if you do the work?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas timely is, can it happen in that time?
In that time frame.
Yeah. So that's the smart time frame. Now, what I do with that as well is, just so I get a little deeper, I then get them to write, this is harsh, but hear me out, 30 reasons why it's important for them to achieve that goal. Important reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So if they absolutely can't, I allow them to do just 10. But 30 reasons, what it does is you're going to fire your brain to really think about why it's important. So then you acknowledge it's important. That's the first step. But then what you do is, once you have all that written down, you find your top 3. What are your top 3 most important reasons? The reasons don't have to just be why you want it, but why, what happens if you don't do it, just like you said. And so when you find those top 3, I get them every single day to remind themselves, take 20 seconds, 30 seconds, remind themselves of those top 3, so that every day it's at the front of their mind. So that when the time comes to make a bad decision, it's already there, and they don't even, them having to think about saying no is already 10 times easier.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
Yeah, it's a pretty good tactic.
Yeah. So what if we had to brainstorm, what do you think would be something most people are missing, or something we can introduce to that mix?
Well, first thing is they're missing actual SMART goals. Like, nobody does that. Everybody has vague goal settings, and I even had that to set till like a year before. So that's a common thing in not having an actual plan of execution. You can put the goals down, but then not breaking down. Like, suppose if you take an example of, I want to lose by the end of the year this much amount of weight. How we are executing that, like what changes are going into diet plan, what changes are going to this, and how you measuring those small steps every fortnightly. That counts. So that's what people don't do. But I get it. It takes a lot of time and effort, and everybody has like full-time work and then family and everything to look after. But that's where you can just have if you can't put it on a big board, just open on a sheet, make it on a document. You can use Whimsical or Miro, and they give you like a big virtual notepad, and you can put everything there, connect, join, do your mind map. But this will help you at least put your brain dump ideas at one spot, and you can go back and look at it when you're ready, and you can just be true to yourself and then see how far you're going and what you can do.
So just sort of seeing what you're doing, sort of putting everything you do on the map, so that you're aware of what you're doing.
So you at least know on your vision map where you are going, and you're the only one who's driving it, so you can know how to navigate it.
Do you know? I like that. I think it's bringing awareness to people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So just saying that just brought to my mind something I think is actually going to be so important for someone that struggles with motivation already. Something that is so simple that you can do every day that would already, I believe, it may not be an immediate thing, but it'll help you. Is it's all about bringing the awareness of what's going to happen if you don't, and what happens if you do. Journaling. So just every single night or morning to practice 10, 15, I would say nighttime, 10 minutes, 5 minutes journaling every night. How was my day? Did I feel good about my day? Was it productive? Did I like what I did? Could I have done something better? And I think if you just do that, all you're doing is asking yourself those questions. You may start off saying, no, I didn't like it, I didn't. But every single night after a week, you're like, I don't want to keep saying I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I want to do something. I want to be happy with what I'm going to write on this paper tonight. And so I think it might just bring some real burning fire to you by just saying, hey man, what am I doing?
I think everyday writing down is for people who are really into their personal growth, but for normal people, if they're not into that growth, at least you can have a vision board, which we've been talking for a while and we haven't done it. But that I can envision it to be a great motivator. Like you have that vision board already set every day in your office or wherever your place you look at the most. And it can be a car that you like, it can be a house that you would like to have, it can be yourself amongst the business people you want to be with, it can be yourself in a orphanage school helping them. You can just Photoshop and put yourself there, but you envision yourself going there, and then every day when you see this you feel like, okay, I didn't you'll get a subconscious trigger that you didn't do much for it. So
technically it's a bit like it's the same thing as what I do with myself with Think and Grow Rich, the book. And it's technically the same thing we do with the clients, which is I said to remind myself of 3 things, but it's now in front of you constantly, right?
Yeah, so you can visualize it, and what you can visualize is stronger than what you can imagine.
Very true. That is another thing I do as well, actually, is that's I've been doing this for about 3 years, every single day. Every single day. So after reading the Think and Grow Rich, but I'd like to actually have that on paper, isn't it? Or not on paper, an actual vision board.
You need to print it.
Because what I do every day...
That's our goal for next week.
Done. Next week's Goal Growth Talks, you're going to hear about it.
Yeah.
So every morning what I do as well is actually, because I read the book, and this is when I started like my full self-development. I had zero idea of anything we're talking about now. I'm just like trying to learn it all. And so in desperation, I held on to it. And even now I still do it, but it does bring me back, but it's a much better technique. Like you just said, I need to improve it. Every morning I still read out what I wrote because I came out with it. What am I writing every day? So that it's at the forefront of my mind. All it does is say, what are my goals? Why am I doing it? Why is it important? And how am I going to do it? And so I think, just seeing and envisioning it is going to be so much more powerful.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, there's going to be times when you're not motivated, right? And the motivation is not always going to come up, and it happens quite often. In fact, I would say more than 50% of the time.
Yeah.
I would say 70%.
I would say if you're starting up, you will have a lot, like just the first boost, you get great motivation.
Yeah.
But before you get in to see the result, that period of the first idea and then the implementation, like period till you get the result, that under construction phase, your motivation can really dip all the time in the under constructions. When you're seeing results, it's easier to be motivated, but when you don't see results, it's very hard to be motivated.
No, that's right. So what do you do when you're not feeling like you are getting those results?
I'm not the best person to give advice on it because I just suck it up. I just have to do what I have to do.
But that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And you are the perfect person, aren't you? Because I'm not talking about being motivated. What do you do when you're not motivated?
Still do the things that I'm supposed to do.
How do you make yourself do that though? Do you know? Is there a method, or is it just because you?
What else you gonna do? If you what's your personality is? If I am this person who does this thing, if I'm not motivated, what does this person do? He has nothing else to do because that's what he knows to do. Like a lion always hunts. He doesn't eat fucking grass if he's not motivated. I'm gonna put in the work even if I'm not motivated. It might not be my optimum work. That's why I've been thinking to, like, when I'm really unmotivated, maybe I should take some time off, and then maybe I should see some friends and go camping or do other things. That's one thing I'm actually going to do when I'm really demotivated to maybe refresh myself. But usually when my demotivation is around 70-80%, I'll still get my shit done.
What you just said, by the way, you actually did have a lot of value. So it wasn't you are the guy, because you just used the technique you talk about. You may not feel incredibly passionate and motivated and wanted to crush it, but you ask yourself the question, what if I don't? You said, who am I? Who do what?
Every time I come around,
Bust the rhymes. You ask yourself the question, who am I? What type of person do I want to be? And what happens if I don't do this?
Yeah.
And so you've seen the person you are if you don't do it, and you don't like that. And so you do it. Not because you feel like it, but because you know it's important. And that's when it matters. It matters when you know you have to do it, not because you feel like doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you only do it when you show up and you feel like showing up, well, you're not really going to do it, right? Because how many times do you feel like absolutely crushing it compared to not crushing it? I would suggest that. Yeah, exactly. So I always feel, like, man, I know I need to do it, but I don't always feel amazing like I have to do it and I'm gritty. But I know I need to, so I do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something I do as well. I always look and I say, okay, am I going to be happy with myself if I don't? Am I going to be happy with what I produce if I don't do this?
Yeah.
And just questioning again and saying, what do I want? So I sit there, I question myself and say, what do I want? And so my time is due. For the past 3 weeks, I've been sitting, Jeremy, take some time off. And I've been planning to do it this weekend, but I've got a very full-on weekend. So next weekend I will sit down with myself again and say, where am I? What do I like about myself that I'm doing? And what do I not like? And then reevaluate. So I think it's important to actually go through a deep analysis and say, what am I doing I don't like?
Yeah.
And what am I doing I do like? But also those little things, like you just said, every day, like, hey man, am I happy with this? What's going to happen if I don't? And it always comes down to questioning. Yeah. Questioning your answers and yourself and what you do.
I have a GST attitude. Get shit done.
I like that. Hey, I put that on I put that on I changed my Instagram bio, and I'm like, I don't know if many people will get it. When I wrote down, like, what do? I coach and motivate people to GSD. I don't know if most people know that.
Yeah, probably they won't. They think you're a tax person.
Yeah, they're like, is this guy, is he my GPS?
He's gonna help me save tax.
This guy's gonna get
He's an accountant.
Weight loss accountant. I will help you lose tax.
Oh, Don't take any financial advice from Jeremy.
Bro, are you kidding? If you're a tax accountant, you can steal that, but I'm going to charge you. I'm just kidding, because then that would technically add tax.
Don't do numbers.
Stop.
Not your fault.
All right. So I actually really think that was a good session because I learned as well some of the tactics you use, and I think I'll put more things into play. So next week I'm going to have that done already for myself.
Yeah, we're going to have a vision board by next week.
Yep. And yeah, if you want to get all the show notes, you want to get that actual template that I have already made, and you just follow it, servetosuccess.com/motivation. And you're going to find it there.
And tell us how your vision board looks like. We would like to know what are your vision like, and if you are more creative on your vision board than us.
Let's see who comes up with the best vision board. DM us on Instagram. All right. Comment down below. Or email us. And we want to see who has the best one. And
if you can't make a proper one, just mock up a rough one, and we'll make a good... The best one that we like, I'll Photoshop and make a good one for you. Looking like legit.
There's motivation for you. All right, done and dusted, and we'll see you on our next session, guys.
Ciao, Gallo.